What is up, YouTube? Episode 13 of the Spiritual Warrior podcast coming at you live, right?
With the 5D.
With the 5D, man, the 5D. So I
We're
want
back. Today's a historic day.
historic day, start of
The war, well, not the start of the war on consciousness, but the World War III, the physical war.
the physical war. We've been in the informational war, the war on consciousness, but we haven't seen any physical effects of it thus far, serious physical effects. Now we're seeing it. We can get into that later. I want to start us off with a thought exercise, right? All
Let's
right.
get it.
I'm going to ask you a question. So this has to do with identity, right? With
I
your
don't know the
identity.
question, by the way.
Yeah, no, he doesn't know. So this has to do with like who you identify with, what you identify with. And this has to do with affirmations as well. So you have a story that you tell yourself. We've watched Aaron Doughty and he's big into that story of the past. What am I? Like, how do I identify? So if I ask you, John, like, who do you think you are? Right? Like, who do you think you are? Like, what would you say?
That's a toughie, man. I don't know. I am me. I could give you my real, like,
Give like what identities or labels you
my
would associate with yourself.
identity is essentially I am just a average college guy studying, I have an active social life. I identify with all this spiritual stuff
Okay,
around.
but if you were to make that into I am statements.
Okay, I am fun, I am knowledgeable, I am conscious, I am all, I am you, I am, I am.
Okay, yes, that's the whole point of the exercise, right? Is you have I was thinking about it and I got my little book somewhere. It's over there.
I am
But
John, I am 20 years old, I am a
yes.
male.
Yes, right? And those are all the labels that you tell yourself. You assign that identity to yourself. So like I sat down and I was like, who do I think I am? I wrote on a piece of paper, I wrote like, I am Corey, I am a surfer, I am a skier, I am conscious, I am a meditator, I am spiritual, all these different labels, right?
Yeah.
But these labels, when you assign them to yourself, when those labels are broken, they cause distress, right?
Mhm.
So like that
It's
the
like, who am I without my labels?
exactly, who are you without your labels? And we've talked about becoming nobody. Like
Exactly. If
that
I will,
somebodyness is those labels you associate with yourself.
like, if I woke up tomorrow and I just woke up and like you stripped me of all my labels, like, what would I do?
Exactly. Like what identity do you hold without those labels? And I thought that was an interesting thing to think about, is because when you go through these different spiritual processes, the you start to lose those labels. The whole entire thing is unlearning and losing those labels. So
Yeah.
the one thing that's universal about all those statements is the I am, right? So when you lay it out like that, like I am a good looking person, I am a healthy person, I'm just like going off my head, right? Like
Oh, this kid's wilding.
I'm wild, and that's the ego.
But
Right?
yeah, for real, all there is the I am. That's why it's the most powerful
Mm-hmm.
statement in all of the universe, right? Like Jesus said, I am the Son of God, like I am the light, I am this, I am that, like all this stuff. It's the most, because like it's the identity that we give ourselves. Like the when you say I am, you could put anything after it and you really do become that, whatever you say. I
Mm-hmm.
could say I am crazy, right? I would, if I kept telling myself that every day, I would go mad.
Exactly. It's the
I could
story that
say
you tell yourself that creates
exactly,
your
because
reality.
again, it's exactly your thoughts, again, back to the your thoughts create your reality. Like that's why, like, when we talk about, say, like people with depression, right? If they just woke up, because like those people, they wake up and they're like, I don't want to get out of bed. But what do they tell themselves to why they don't want to get out of bed? I am depressed. And it's like, no, you might be, because there's
Because
science.
you're telling yourself
There's
you
science
are.
behind
Yes,
depression. Like
yes.
people actually have depression, but it's like when you wake up every day and you say, I am depressed, or I am sad, I am this, I am that, you're literally going to create a reality in which you project that depression and that sadness
Mhm.
outward, when you could wake up every day, even with your depression. I know it's hard. I've never been depressed, thankfully, but like if you just started every day with like a meditation, like even for 5 minutes, if you sat somewhere,
Positive affirmations are good
exactly,
too.
even
Yeah.
like literally 5 minutes, like it's not a long time. And it's like all you say for those 5 minutes, and I am happy, I am confident, I am loving, I am this, I am that, I am powerful. You're gonna go on throughout your day, and then like remember, even if something comes up, like just remember, like I did, okay, I sat down for 5 minutes and I really resonated with these like
Hmm.
positive words, these affirmations, like that changes the way you go on throughout your day and your life.
Hmm. And I was also thinking about the fact, so look, like I said before, I started out with like what I do. Like I'm a musician, I'm a surfer, I'm a skier. And it had me thinking because yesterday I went to the beach, right? I went to meditate. I jumped in the ocean yesterday, had a
Cool.
nice little ice bath, you know. And the wait, I didn't realize that there was waves. So I went to the beach. I didn't have my surfboard or anything. I went to the beach. And I was like, fuck, like there's waves. Like I didn't realize there was waves. I like went up, walked up towards the jetty. I was staying on the jetty. And I was thinking the whole time, like, fuck, like these guys are lucky. Like they brought their surfboards. I should have brought my surfboard. It was too late for me to go home and get my board. I was like, damn, like I was feeling a sense of lack because I'm assigning that label to myself. Like I'm a surfer. I should have been out there today. Even though it's like not that deep, right? Like I like not that I
That's
really
not,
was like, pissed at myself.
that's not even, that's
Yeah.
not at all, but like it is
That's
that
just
whole
like
idea
yeah, but
that
it's just
you're
like that idea.
that caused you to stress not being able to go out and enjoy those waves, like, and that's just like a tiny identity that you give yourself. Like
Hmm.
say you like correlated that to something much more like actual, like meaningful to you, like it would cause you a lot more distress.
Exactly, exactly. Now that's a very minor example. But then like I thought about that whole exercise I did and I was like, okay, like the whole reason I did that was to detach from those labels. So
Exactly.
I was like, okay, so like it doesn't matter. Like, okay, like even though I'm a surfer, like it doesn't matter I'm missing those waves. Like I'm a meditator today. Like I'll sit on the beach and like I just meditated. Like whatever situation you're in, like right now, like I'm a podcaster. Like
Exactly.
right, so like don't feel that sense of lack from those labels. And I think a lot of times people get caught up in that, like
And
people.
that's, yeah,
Go
go
ahead.
ahead.
I was going to say a lot of times this has to do with like your job or sports. I know for football for me is like it's the story of like, oh, like when I was in high school I was like always like, oh, like I'm playing football and I'm one of the best ones on the team, like I'm all sure, like on
That's
whatever,
your identity.
right, right. And then I get to college and it's like, damn, I'm kind of a fucking schmuck like here compared to all these other kids. And
You're
it
no
was
longer the best guy on the,
exactly, and it's
like,
just like that
the
story that I
whole
told.
identity crisis, bro.
Exactly, because that kind of like makes your whole world come crashing down when you're like, damn, like I'm the shit. And then you go to college, you're like,
Yeah,
I'm
bro,
not
that
so much of
happens,
the shit.
and that happens to a lot of people, especially with sports, right? Like, yeah, like you're the best guy at your town, in your town, like you're all conference, all this, all that, and then exactly like you go on, you get that scholarship, you go on to play, and then maybe you never step foot on the field because there's guys that much better than you, and it's like you literally have an identity crisis because you don't know how to function without that reality, without that story that you tell yourself that
Hmm.
I am the best. But no, you're not anymore. Like you
Hmm.
could still tell yourself you're that, but like if you're not playing, you're not showing your off your capabilities, like that's gonna put you through like a locker full of hurt, you know what I'm
Yeah.
saying?
The main
And
point
like,
I was getting through with that whole thing is that those labels are where the sense of lack comes from. Like those labels that you give yourself
yeah,
don't actually apply any worth to you. You know what I'm saying? Like
yeah,
those labels will only provide lack to you. Like even if I wake up every day and I say like I am a spiritual person, like I am righteous, I'm virtuous, right? I wake up and then something happens throughout my day and I judge somebody, right? And it's like a crisis in my head, like, oh fuck, I can't do that because I'm all spiritual, like I'm divine, I can't be casting that negative judgment upon people. Oh, like I can't have this beer because I'm all spiritual, whatever it is,
doesn't
like
matter, bro.
it really doesn't matter. Like you're creating those problems in your head because of the labels you assign yourself.
Yeah, and it's like the I am really, it's another way to keep your presence in the whatever moment you're in, right? Like today I had two exams and like I'm sitting there taking the exams, but like say my mind wanders for a minute, right? And it's like, oh, I want to later my boys are gonna all be over, like there's the Canadians at the house, like I want to be there and like be part of that and not missing out, right? So like that is the identity of like, oh, I'm a frat guy, right? And it's like, but I'm thinking about this while I'm taking a test, say. Not I wasn't actually thinking about this, but like
Mm-hmm.
just like an example. When really should have been thinking, I am a student right now.
Mm-hmm.
And like if I said to myself, I am a student, I would be fully focused on my work and whatever, like being present in my test and like just being present with my
Mm-hmm.
like all of my consciousness. But
Mm-hmm.
like, and if you take that another, like any aspect, like say you're, because that's the whole thing about presence, like the only time you're not present is when you're think is majority probably all the time for most people, like even myself, it's hard to be present all the time because
Yeah.
like Ram Dass says, that's literally the hardest thing to do.
That's the whole
That's
entire reason they meditate
exactly
and go in
that's
retreats
why
is that's the
anyone
whole.
does anything.
Yeah.
And it's like even the yogis fucking spend years in meditation. They can't even, they get out of it and they can't even become present anymore. Or
Mm-hmm.
like, not that they can't, but it's a struggle. It's like the hardest thing
Mm-hmm.
to do. And it's like, if you can, if you're doing something and you're thinking in the past about something that happened 20 minutes ago, you're thinking an hour ahead into your day, like, no, just come back to whatever you're doing, whatever, if you even don't want to be doing it, say, I am this. Like, that's all you are for that moment in time.
Exactly.
One say you're cleaning fucking dishes. Like there's that Jesse Itzler, the book I read, Living with the Monks. It's like Jesse had to clean up all of the dishes for all the monks because they threw like a little monk party, and there was like thousands of dishes, and they made him clean every single one. And it was like Jesse was like, "Holy fuck, this is gonna take me all night to clean all these dishes," and the monk was like, no, Jesse, like you only have the dish that's in your hand. And Jesse like had this like revelation, and it's like, holy crap, like I literally only have this. I'm worrying about all the dishes I have to go, but like I only have the dish that's in my hand. It's all about coming present. And like if Jesse he realized like at that time, like for the time being, I am just a dishwasher. And like if you can realize that, you're never gonna have any negative thoughts or nothing, bro. You're just in the present moment, in that flow state, grinding out whatever task you got to do, regardless if you don't want to do it, if it's bad. But
Mm-hmm.
again, nothing is good or bad because everything just is. Like, just be present. Everything
Mm-hmm.
in the present moment, everything just is.
That's why the flow state is quite an interesting kind of state to be in when you. So look, for us, we go skiing for a whole day, right?
Yeah.
We go up to Pennsylvania, Vermont. You get on that mountain in the morning, and
And
it
we're
feels
just
like no
going.
time went by from the time you get there in the morning till the time you leave. It's like, holy shit, we skied all day. It's like,
Like,
yes,
we're not even checking our phones. Like,
we're not
really,
on our phones. We're not
we're
doing
not
it.
on our phones.
We're just loving being there.
We're
That's
just
that's
being
all it's
present, skiing, being with the boys. Like, just love it, living in the
about.
moment, living in the now.
Hmm.
And that's all there is right there.
Yeah, exactly. For me, like I pick up my guitar. I got to do an essay or something. I pick up my guitar. I play my guitar. I look at the time. Oh shit, it's 10:30. Time to go to fucking bed. I didn't do any of my paper. Like, where'd that time go? Like time, like
Time's
time.
irrelevant.
It's irrelevant to like how your mental state is. But then again, you could wake up and you could be in that. Oh, I'm so sad. I'm so bored. That's a terrible thing to tell.
That's a thing, terrible thing to
That's a
say.
terrible thing to. I'm bored. There's nothing to do. And I hate when people say that because there's everything to do. You could do anything you want. And I'm bored right now. That's the worst. That's the worst
That's
thing
the worst thing
ever.
you could say, bro. Because like it,
Mm.
it's just so bad. Because you're just saying I'm bored, and you're just like bringing negative vibes to your present state. Like it's like not like, don't be bored. Just sit and just be content with whatever you're being, bro. Like if you're just sitting on the couch with nothing to do, and you're saying I'm bored, like just
Just
sit on the
say
couch,
I
bro.
am sitting on this couch. That's
Yeah,
what
bro.
I'm doing right now. It doesn't
What
matter.
you're doing, bro.
Yeah.
And if you're not, if you are bored, fucking find yourself something to do. Sit there, and if you're bored, I challenge you anytime you say you're bored and you have literally nothing to do, just sit there and meditate.
Meditate,
Why not?
contemplation. That's another big
Why
thing that
not do
I've
it?
been realizing too. Contemplation. I don't know if you tend to try that. I've been trying to turn off the music sometimes when I'm driving in the car and
And just
just sit
contemplate
there
your
and just
thoughts.
contemplate
I
thoughts
do
and
that.
kind
Yeah,
of rationalize.
I never like intentionally do it, but like
Yeah,
I'm always just like thinking.
I've been trying to get off my phone. I've been on my fucking phone too much. Like scrolling through TikTok and Instagram like that. It's just so toxic. I got to get rid of all the social media. I mean, we've been posting on TikTok all the time, so this feed's pretty conscious. Like I like seeing like a lot of the stuff on there. Kind of gives me new
It's
ideas for
still
videos.
it is conscious, and it's like good because you're retaining new information that you wouldn't necessarily see if you weren't on TikTok.
Yeah,
But then again, it's like, do you need to spend an hour on TikTok? And it's
no,
like,
no,
no, because
no.
you could watch one tick, and like we're all guilty of it. Like you could watch one, say you see one conscious video on TikTok, and you're like, oh, that's cool. So you either continue just watching TikToks, and then by the time you even like finish, an hour goes by, you probably forgot about the fucking first TikTok you saw that like made you actually think something productive, where you could really open your phone, you watch that one TikTok, and
And
then
then go
maybe
research it.
go research it or go meditate on it, or just like
hmm
go use that knowledge that you
Yeah,
just learned and go do
but
something
I
productive
think
rather
I
than
think
watch
more or less that
bullshit.
using the social media and the technology stuff for entertainment purposes is kind of to disassociate the same way that we're saying that going skiing and music and surfing for me and all these passions that we have or share, right? The way that those make time flow, people that don't have something that they can really get their hands dirty and do is they use social media and streaming services and television and all this stuff to make that time go by because like what else do they have?
There's
And
nothing else to do, bro.
yeah, exactly. And
That's
that's
what they say.
like video games. People sit there and play video games for hours. Like
They're like
my
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 boys.
house dude, my housemates, I'm sure yours too. They sit there and they play Fortnite all day.
Yeah,
It's like
bro. My
woo.
boys, I literally walked in the house from my exam like an hour ago, and my two boys are in the kitchen. I'm like, oh, like, what are you guys doing? Like, whatever. And they're like, oh, this new video game comes out in 20 minutes at 6 o'clock. Like, we're about to just go play it for like the rest of the night. And it's like, why?
Nice. Yeah, like why? But like
It's like, I
I
don't
guess
feel,
that's
yeah,
fun.
if that's your fun, but it's like you have but you literally have infinite potential. And that's like the whole idea. Like people use this shit to disassociate because they're bored. And it's like, bro, if you know the shit we know and like what we're trying to spread, you'll never be bored because you're just constantly seeking knowledge and seeking betterment for yourself and better virtues and all this stuff. Cause like
hmm
you are full of you are infinite awareness, you are infinite potential. Like it's like, bro, how could you be bored when you literally have access to infinite knowledge? And it's
hmm
like, especially with all the social media and stuff, like, yeah, you people, most 99% of people use it to just like they're they can't face their reality, so they're just gonna lay in their bed and go on TikTok for
And
the
it's
rest.
also a fact of like when you use it all the time, like your regular reality seems a whole lot more dim because like you look at that and you hear Elon Musk and Joe Rogan and these guys talk about how the unrealistic standards on these shows. Oh, look at this girl with perfect makeup and perfect bikini on and skin's perfect. Oh, look at that guy with the ripped six pack and the veins popping out his biceps. Like nobody like yeah, they look like that, but like do they look like that all the time? Like
And then it's like, and it brings you back to the I am, and then it's like you see that, and then you immediately think you're like, I am not that.
exactly,
I am
exactly.
not that. And you're like, makes you feel bad about yourself because you're like, I want to be 6 foot tall, jacked, ripped, like shredded. Like who doesn't, right? But it's like you gotta love what you got. You gotta be grateful for like what you've been gifted from God or whatever. And like you can't, and especially with girl, I mean it happens to guys too. Like we see it. There's tons of the guys on freaking Instagram and TikTok that I would fucking want to look like. They look like Greek gods. But it's like I never see that, and it's like I never like feel bad about myself because I don't look like that. But for a lot of girls, I would probably say most girls, like it's really unrealistic. The people you see, girls with millions of followers, like yeah, they might be in the best shape, best body or whatever, but it's like that's not like necessarily realistic. And then you could even add the whole Photoshop shit, like, and like most of them are doing all the Photoshop stuff. And it's like girls take this and then they feel bad about themselves all the time because they don't look like this.
Yeah,
And it's
it's
like that's all part of the war on the consciousness right there.
exactly.
Because
They're
that, what
they're
does that do? Keeps you in a lower vibrational state because you're now, your day has now been ruined because you don't look like fucking, I don't know, whoever's on the model is on
hmm
fucking Instagram, bro. It's like now your whole reality's crushed because you don't got the 6-pack abs and the fat ass and the nice
hmm
tits. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Yeah, no, I know what you're saying. And it also
Bad
goes,
news. It's bad news.
it's bad news. It lowers your vibration. And you can also look, there's studies now, I was looking into them today actually about the electromagnetic frequency of your body, right? So atoms are 90.9% empty space, right? So there's the 0.1% of actual matter in an atom. So you're 99.9 empty space. And the only thing holding together that empty space is what? Electricity. Okay. Electricity, electromagnetic frequencies, or
Signal.
maybe I'm saying that wrong, but electricity is what holds your atoms together in your body, right? So that's what holds together the atoms in your body. The the atoms in this table right here, the atoms, everything around is held together by electromagnetic frequencies, right? And
That's like,
that electromagnetic field of the atom does not own, it extends past the atom itself, right? So we have a 4 to 5 foot electromagnetic field around us at all times that we can consciously manipulate, right? But that the only way to do that is through tapping in. And you know how you don't tap in?
TikTok.
Getting jealous of people on social media is definitely how you don't tap in.
Yeah, bro. Definitely, that's
So
definitely not the way
like
to do it.
you have infinite potential. I just started a new book called The Art of Dreaming, and it's very interesting. It talks about dream yoga and lucid dreaming, but specifically it talks about the Native American, or not Native American, the culture in South America, the what are the, I forget what they're called right now.
That's
The, I know what they're called. Ah, oh, I know what they're called now. The Nagual, right? The Nagual. I think that's how you say it. They are, it's a spirit, right? That's
yeah.
connected with their spirit so much so that they're no longer that person. That person just emanates through them. So in ancient cultures,
Like their
especially in
higher self.
Mexico, essentially they are the higher self, right? So it's said that they would inhabit here. Do you want me to? I'll share my screen so you can see what I'm looking at. Um, so look, so a person a personal guardian spirit or protective alter ego assumed by various Middle American Indians to reside in an animal or less frequently some other embodiment, right? The animal double of the self. Now, a sorcerer believed by various Middle American Indians to be capable of transforming himself into animal form. Now, okay, so in that book, they're talking specifically about the sorcerer aspect of it and how you can manipulate your field around you. The main function of the sorcerers was manipulating the field around them, and they have a
Okay.
name. They have a name for that field. Um, it's very similar to your subtle body, your energetic body, um, but it's very interesting. That field around you has one point in it, which is like the direct point of the soul, and how they can manipulate that point of the soul and move it to different spots. Essentially, it's an arm's length behind your back at most times because it's like a 5 foot circle around you. And essentially
Yeah.
that point is like an arm's length behind your back at all times. And
Uh-huh.
but like the very skilled sorcerers from like back that he's saying right now, like there's still people that can do it, but not as much because all the technology and stuff like that, it's harder to tap into that.
Touch that
But
thread.
they could manipulate themselves outside of that body. So like they would have the field around them. They would be able to move the here. Let me pull up an energetic body. Um, so look, so subtle energy body. So, oh, I put Bobby. Um, so look, you see how it emanates like that, right?
Yeah.
So, and I'm sure you've seen this before, but essentially that orb would be back here, which is like the fine-tuned point of the spirit. And you could actually manipulate your subtle energy body that's normally in like this egg type shape and
Yeah.
manipulate it out into like a smoking pipe, it looks like, because you can get it outside of it, but it doesn't ever leave or break the barrier, it just stretches it. So that's how they would inhabit animals and stuff like that. They would still have their energetic field around their body, but they would move their spirit point, assemblage point they call it, to
So
others.
are they then like almost like, are they out of their own body?
I haven't gotten that very far into the book. I'm only like 20-30 pages in,
Like
but
they're
it's
almost
super
like
interesting.
they're almost like projecting their consciousness or their energy field onto a lower entity.
Exactly.
But
That's
like,
essentially
how,
what they're doing.
what would their body then be doing?
They would be in a meditative state, or
Okay, so it'd be like
yeah,
if I'm just sitting here meditating, and then I project my, almost like you start astral projecting, and then
exactly. It's
yeah, so it's like,
essentially
to make it easy, like, because now I understand, like, say you're meditating and then you astral project, and then your consciousness is then your ethereal body, and then you could then project into a lower entity being,
hmm
which is the same way, higher levels of consciousness entities like aliens say, or like not even alien, well, yes, aliens, but like demonic figures, right? Because they're of they all are of like fifth density, right? And they skip that fourth chakra of love, right?
and
And
they just go straight to wisdom.
they're full of the wisdom, right? So like they then possess onto the lower vibrational frequencies of man, and then project their consciousness in them, and then try to ultimately like take yours over, essentially.
And that,
Obviously people are doing it out of good intention, but like that's the whole idea of like, you can physically project your consciousness onto other lower beings.
and that brings us. We could talk a little bit about the Egyptian mystery schools and the Egyptian mystery schools and the occult mystery schools that continued the Rosicrucian order, the Hermetic order of the Golden Dawn, the Freemasonry now, sects of it, how they were broken off into it. Right? There's so many. I could find a list of the occult, and I'll bring it up for the next
Knights
podcast.
Templar, the fucking, what else is there? There's the
Just like the general Illuminati, like the Third
yeah, like
Eye.
so many different occult mystery schools, like that are all based. They all go back to the
They
same
all
in the Lumerian
exactly,
civilizations. They all go back to Sumer.
and they
All
all go back to none other than Hermes Trismegistus, Thoth, Mercury, Hermes, right? He's attributed for there's 42 significant works that we can find coming from ancient times in Sumer, I believe, all the way dated to the Roman Empire
yeah.
and even later, that are attributed to him. The
I have
Kabbalion, the
I have
Hermetica, Corpus Hermeticum. These are the Emerald Tablets, and essentially Thoth, though the
yeah,
one
speaking
personality.
speaking of Thoth, right? So I was watching, or I was listening to a podcast today that Billy Carson just posted with it was like him and then like three other guys.
It was
And
him, Jay Campbell, Matt LaCroix, and one Rex something. I'm not
Rex.
sure his name.
Yeah, did you watch it too?
Yeah, I listened to the whole thing.
I watched it. I listened. I would only listen to like 40 minutes of it, but in that they were basically just like talking about all this stuff, and they said something that I was like, wow, this is like real. This like makes you think, right? So it was. They said they were discussing like the all these like ancient tablets and stuff, or they were discussing the Epic of Gilgamesh is what they were discussing, and the one guy was saying how um it's all just like a metaphor for like the constellations and like
And
the
the zodiac signs.
zodiacs, right? And then the other guy was saying, no, that's, yes, that's true, but it's still like a literal, like you can take the words for like a literal sense, even though they are also like metaphorical in the same thing, right? And Billy Carson called it a double entendre because that's what it
Yeah.
is. When one line of something has two meanings, right?
Mhm.
So they were, you probably know what I'm getting at, but
Yeah.
then they said, imagine, so a rapper, right, can write a line and it could potentially mean four things and it could be a quadruple entendre, right? But if a rapper can think of a freaking like a cool line that's a quadruple entendre, what can a demigod create, bro? And it's like, that's like, I was listening to that and I was like, holy fuck, like, yeah, like that's like actually so profound because it's like, yeah, like people, they were debating what the
And just to understand the demigod, right? Go back to
demigod
the
meaning like the
demigod thing.
Anunnaki
Mean
guy.
an Anunnaki being a false proclaimer that they are God, right? So you could see, yeah, I mean, I don't want to come out and say Yahweh, but I'll say Yahweh in the Bible, right? Um,
And Lil,
and Lil
the
and
guy
Yahweh
is
and Lil,
Lil,
the
God.
demigod, right? We've been worshiping an Anunnaki alien through Catholicism for Christianity specifically for 2,000 years now, 2,200 years.
And a lot of people don't know, bro. Like, not even a lot of people, like all people, I would go ahead and say 99% of people that worship that the Bible and stuff they don't even know what the shit is saying, bro. Like,
And half of them haven't even read the Bible. I can't talk because I haven't read the Bible.
I haven't read the Bible either, but I know I listen to enough shit and like research enough other stuff that I could come with this, like, this is
Yeah,
like,
I've read some parts of the Bible. I've never read the
yeah,
Bible all the way through.
like,
But
but
like
it's
me saying that I've read some parts of the Bible is probably I've probably read more of the Bible than most Christians,
actually, yeah, bro.
Catholics have, like, which is like, I don't know, kind of sad to be honest.
Yeah, because it's
Like
like
they
you
don't
base,
even
like,
understand,
think
like,
about it.
especially if you're gonna live by the book, by the
Not even
one
live by
book.
the book, bro. Not even live by it. You're essentially basing your whole eternity on a book. You didn't even read the book. It's like, how could you base your whole eternity, your whole literal eternity after you die on a book you didn't even read? Like, you don't even know anything. And then you didn't even like try to read it and then like take up another book or something or bunch of books and then like try to come up with the your
Right.
own thought process. And it's like, because why people don't do it, because it's so easy to just say, oh, I follow Jesus and I follow God. And it's like, yeah, it's so easy because that in a set, that's what Christianity was made for. It just gives you a false sense of like identity per se. And it's like, if you I could just walk around saying I'm a follower of God and like that's enough.
And a
That's
lot of
enough.
people have the misconception that Jesus is God, Yahweh is God, right? What Jesus was trying to say, I mean, yes, Jesus is God in a sense, but he was trying to tell you that so are you, right? And that's what his main thought, that's what his main thing was, like, I am, um like, me and the Father are one, but he couldn't express it in words to make other people understand it, so he had to speak in parables, right? So he
Yeah,
spoke in
bro.
parables. And
I
where was all of his wisdom coming from, stemming from, right? You see you see the connections between the emerald tablets of Thoth. You see the emerald tablet of Hermes. You see the Buddhist traditions making the two one. You see all these things connecting. When you start to see the religions start to connect and you start putting pieces of the puzzle together, we can get back to the Egyptian mystery schools
yeah.
that taught what was I brought it up, and I vaguely knew this information, but then when I did a little research, so there's three mystery schools in the Egyptian times, right? The three mystery schools. The one was the Left Eye of Horus mystery school, which studied the feminine principle of love, compassion, etc. Right? And what they had to do was there was 12 temples along the Nile, right? 12 temples along the Nile River, all pyramids, I believe, to my understanding. And they would study at each one of the temples for a year. One, trying to get fully in a love state, a compassionate state, and two, rid themselves of fear. That was the number one priority they had. So every temple essentially had a fear associated with it, and they would be put through the most fearful situations possible to rid themselves of that fear until they got to the final temple, which was none other than the Great Pyramid, right?
Mm.
The Great Pyramid was the final temple of the Left Eye of Horus school, which it was not a tomb. I had some people commenting on TikTok about it being a tomb.
What the
I can't even, what?
people were saying the pyramid's just a tomb?
Yeah, I can't even argue with people like that. I'm going to get back to the Right Eye of Horus school did not have as many temples, and I'm still doing a little bit more research on that one. But to my understanding, that was more of an oral tradition. It was much quicker. So you learn the love and the compassion through the left eye, and then the wisdom was laid on orally because they didn't want to put that wisdom into writing for people for it to get into the wrong hands. So it was an oral tradition passed down through elders, through all, and you can still see some of those oral traditions being passed down in Egypt.
That's why the monks don't say anything, bro.
Yes,
And
because it can get in the wrong
coming out.
hands.
Exactly. They're only coming out now, like the Tibetan monks, like we were talking about the Tibetan yogis of whatever that documentary is called.
The yogis of Tibet, yeah.
And it's like they're only coming out now to spread the wisdom of their ancient fucking mysteries because like they're dying out and it needs to get spread, and the only way they could spread it is to pass it on through their words. Like it's not written anywhere. Like once they all die out, like if they die
That's
out and
lost
don't pass
wisdom.
it's so much lost wisdom, bro. So like all of
And
the
why
earth-
do you think China went in there, communist China went in there and started slaughtering people? They killed 1.2 million Tibetans when they took over Tibet. That's why the Dalai Lama had to flee. The Dalai Lama hasn't been in Tibet since 1959. Like that's crazy that Tibetan monks aren't in Tibet. It's wild.
That's wild, bro. And
but,
it's like,
but also it relates to, Dr. Strange. I'm sure you've seen Dr. Strange. Look what happens when the evil takes one piece of paper of wisdom from the light, right?
what happened in Doctor Strange?
In Doctor Strange,
Haven't seen it in a while.
I'm not sure the evil entity's name, but he takes here, I'll pull it up.
The wisdom is so powerful. Like, yeah, it only takes one page of wisdom for you to learn, and then you could use it for so much bad, bro.
So much bad. So look, if you remember, he got the one spell from the spell book. You remember this guy in Doctor Strange? He got the one spell from the spell book, and he was able to manipulate reality completely, right? He was able to manipulate reality, and obviously that's a very severe example, but like it's that deep. Like it's just like all these movies and predictive programming, they're putting it right in front of our faces to understand. Like you see the Matrix, and you see Doctor Strange, and you see the Star Wars saga, which is based on the Terra Papers. You see Marvel Universe, which is based on all these stories from the past. Like
where do you made the TikTok on it the other day. The basis of all the Marvel movies is surrounded by what? The Tesseract, or
the Tesseract,
the Covenant. Like the the beginning of what's the first Marvel movie? There's Iron Man is the first one, but then there's like the first Captain America movie.
Yeah, with Hydra.
The Nazis, and their whole thing is they are trying to get the Tesseract. The entirety of the whole freaking Marvel saga. There's the fight the whole time, and in Infinity War, or Endgame rather, they done goofed it, and Loki got away with the Tesseract, and he just went off, bro. Exactly. And then with that, he could manipulate literally anything because it's so powerful. It's a higher dimension. It's a higher dimensional cube, or not even a cube, but a fourth dimensional cube, you could say, in this reality. That's why it's so powerful.
In three-dimensional form, a hypercube. But
yeah, and I saw a video. I can
that
try
Tesseract
on that real quick. Let me see. It's on Instagram, but let me see if I could find it.
So while you're looking that up, the Tesseract, right? I mean,
right here, look at this shit.
You got it?
Yeah, hopefully it'll play like fine.
Hopefully I'll be able to see it. Oh, I see it. Okay, we can make a perspective into 3D. Oh, yeah.
But wait, it gets even crazier, bro.
That's why I was moving today. I was moving so fast I pulled a fucking hamstring. Yeah, you did pull a hamstring. We're on the podcast.
Oh shit.
No, you're fine.
But watch it. Look at it.
I didn't even put one out there. Yeah, so what was that?
5D.
Oh, that was you did the 5D for me. Thank you.
5D, bro.
So that's just demonstrating the 8 cubes that are
I
in
can look.
that hypercube, right?
It says what's on it all. Can't really see it.
Yeah. But
Yeah.
no, I get the point. So right, I'm gonna make a TikTok going up the dimensions soon enough, talking about going from a point to a line to a square to a cube to a hypercube, all the way up, all the way up. We'll get to dodecahedron, man. We'll get to the dodecahedron.
We're talking about the occult. I could read this real quick too.
What is that?
How the tree of life coincides with the Ankh key of life.
Tell me what a
And this is
enlighten
I'll read the comment. So it says the tree of life, Ankh Egyptian hieroglyph for life. The tree of life in Egypt has this circle of spirit above the cross of matter or earth. So it's I can't even show you to read it. But then it says this forms the sacred Ankh. In Arabic, the tree of life, based on 10 spheres or planetary energies, is called the Kabbalah, which literally means the cube of God. Kaaba is cube and Allah is God, literally the container of creation. Billions of followers ritually circumambulate, or walk around a giant black cube in Mecca. The center of this map of consciousness is the sun, or Tesseract. I gotta look that up. Each planet or sphere has a number. So the sun is called number 6, and its magic square of 6 times 6 has its sums of columns, rows, and diagonals summing up to 111, or harmonic 111. This sun code is the center point of the Egyptian Ankh, where the circle of spirit meets the cross of earth. It is symbolically the point known as the higher heart, a place of communion where the human evolution meets and greets the celestial abodos, or bodies. The Ankh was used in ancient Egyptian occult ceremonies and rites. As a hieroglyph, it was a symbol for life. Later, it came to represent the bringer of good fortune and the celebration of life. For this reason, the Ankh today has become the symbol of eternal life.
Interesting.
Wow.
All these ancient symbols, all these ancient
gods right there.
All these ancient symbols hold so many hidden meanings. Everything you see the pyramid on the dollar bill, you see the Metatron, you see the flower of life, the tree of life, the Kabbalah, you see Platonic solids, you see the golden ratio. All these geometrical patterns all hold crazy significance.
Bro, I got some mad good shit in here. I'm trying to see if I can.
The Merkaba light vessel, the vehicle of the soul, the vehicle of the soul.
Got the 33. Could read that.
Yeah, that's interesting. The 33.
That's a quote right there. I could read that.
Go ahead.
What does master number 33 mean in numerology? In numerology, master number 33 means selfless love, illumination, and inspiration. 33 is called the master teacher because number 33 is a master of teaching, giving, and speaking. 33 is as above number because it is active, masculine, and passionate in nature. However, because 3 plus 3 equals 6, master number 33 is sensitive, compassionate, and deep understanding. So 33 essentially has the masculine and the feminine. 33 is born on this world to uplift others through their service and teachings. This is a master number of the heart, which enables a person to connect both to the spiritual realm as well as the physical world. Spiritual meaning of master number 33. The spiritual meaning of master number 33 is closely related to the 33 segments of the spinal column, 33 years of David's dominion in Jerusalem, 33 degrees of Freemasonry, and 33 years of Jesus Christ. It is symbolic of the Kundalini serpent lying at the base of our spine. Once we activate this cosmic energy, we raise up the serpent to the top of our head, just like Moses raised up the serpent, or Jesus resurrected from the dead in the Bible. 33 vertebrae of the spinal column. In the Kabbalistic tree of life, there are 22 paths and 10 globes, plus the one invisible Sephira, Doth, which sums up to 33 steps of wisdom. In the ancient Hebrew Kabbalistic tree of life contains 33 permutations of consciousness, 22 paths, 10 known/drawn Sephiroth, and 11th hidden Sephiroth left undrawn in most renditions. The word diamond vibrates to this master number because its root total is 33. There are exactly 33 turns in a complete sequence of human DNA. Diamond is made up of carbon dioxide buried deep in the ground. Therefore, master number 33 is a spiritual diamond that needs extremely strong pressure of self-discipline so it can transform from the lowly substance into precious spiritual essence. Like, wow, bro.
That's quite woke.
That's woke.
Numerology and everything.
Yeah, bro. The 33, bro. Why do you think Jesus died when he was 33, bro? Or so they say he died.
So they say.
So they say. Billy Carson thinks he went off with Mary Magdalene and had a couple kids and was just living happily ever after.
Could be.
I don't know. I wasn't there. Can't make that assumption.
I can't make any assumptions, man, because assumptions make an ass out of you and me.
Yeah, bro. People be assuming a lot, bro. They're everyone's an asshole when it comes to the divine right to live, bro. No one knows the truth.
Mm-hmm.
That's all we're seeking for.
That's it. Truth. Infinite truth we be seeking for. The infinite reality, supreme reality, the Brahman, the infinite potential.
Yep. That's all infinite, but what's not infinite
is this podcast.
This podcast. Today we're calling out
No. You know who we got to call out today?
who?
I'm calling out Putin today.
That's
not cool. That's not cool. That's so 3D, bro.
That is the most 3D bullshit.
I thought we were past the conquistador times, man. That's so 1800s of Putin, bro. That's like 1600s of Putin.
Putin thinks it's his right. It's Ukraine is his right. Nah, it ain't your right. It's my right. It's all of ours. All this land should be free, bro. There should be no borders. Oneness, baby. We're spreading oneness and